Good morning, dear students. Before beginning with a new chapter, in the previous class we have studied about the layers of the atmosphere. Yes, we have also studied about the rain cycle. How does it rain on the planet Earth? We have also seen about the biosphere, like different living things are present on the different surface of the Earth. According to the climatical conditions, the animals are living on it. So today we will begin the new chapter in our EVS 1 subject, that is environmental balance. Now beginning with the chapter, in this lesson we will see what is environment and how the living things and the non-living things they are related to each other. Now which all the living organisms are present in your surroundings, all that we are going to study in this chapter. Even we are going to see what is the food chain and how they are interlinked with each other. We will see what is the food web, okay, and what is the important role in the life of the living organisms with the help of the food web. Okay, so we will begin with the explanation. Now dear students, while sitting on your window of your house, sometimes you might have seen that living things, okay, you might have seen various different types or kinds of living things in your surroundings. Even while walking on the street or going somewhere out, you have seen various living things in your surrounding. Now when you observe them clearly, okay, when you see them clearly, you will come to know that they are in color, different shape, different size, different sound, and even they have their different shelters. Now in this picture you can see there are animals and birds, plants, trees, mushrooms, fish, and even human being. Okay. Now for example, the human being have their own shape of the body, the size of the body, the color, the sound, they have their own shelter. Whereas the fish, they have different colors. Yes, their body has different colors, their shape is different, the size is different, and they live in the water. Whereas some birds lives on the trees, they build nests and they live on the trees. And you're able to see the birds are in different colors, in different shapes, in different size. Now with help of these features, we are able to identify or we are able to understand which living thing or which living organism it is. Now for example, you cannot say a dog that it is a cat. Can you? No, you can't, because you know the features of the dog and the cat. You know the difference between the dog and the cat, how they are, how they look. Yes. Now for example, you cannot say a parrot has a sparrow, because the parrot is in green color whereas the sparrow is in white and brown in color. You know the shape of the sparrow and the parrot. Okay, the parrot is little bigger than the sparrow, whereas sparrow is tiny. Okay, it is small. So you know that their features, how they look. Okay, what is their color, their size, their sound, their shape of their body, okay, and where do they live. Okay, so with the help of this, okay, with the help of their colors, their shape, their size, we can differentiate the living things present on the planet Earth. Now in this slide you can see many living things, okay, many living organisms are present. Now they are in different shape, different size, different color, they have their own sound. Yes. Now dear students, scientists are also doing research on these living things, on these living organisms present on the earth. And this research work, it is related to the biodiversity. Okay, so what happens over here? So scientists are doing research, okay, whatever the work they are having, okay, the scientist does research related to the biodiversity, and they are specialized with that thing. Okay, now scientists are usually specialized with one particular concept, or one particular thing, or one particular topic. Okay, they search or they do research work in detail. Okay, they do research work in detail. Now, if you want to do study related to plants, okay, if any scientist wanted to do study related to the plants, okay, so it is called the study of botany. Okay, it is called the study of botany. Whereas the animals, okay, if any scientist wanted to do the study of the animals, they are called as the study of zoology. Understood? So according to scientists, they do research work and they also observe them continuously. Okay, they observe the living things. Okay, what are the research work they are doing of the plants or of the animals? They research it continuously. They do not research only for a day or only for a one night, but they do this continuously. This observation are carried on continuously through day and night. Okay, many months it takes, even sometimes it takes even many years. Sometimes the whole life is of the scientist went through researching on their various topics. So you can see how long it takes to do the research work. And for doing research also, they require various devices. For example, they might require microscope, they might require magnifying glass also. So various devices are used so that they could study that thing in detail. Okay. Even they need to read various books. They study various books so that they could get definite information about it. Now scientists research works are done, okay, according to the great height. Now they use these various devices to make the observation of the living things which are found on the great heights, that is on the sky, above the sky, okay, the birds and everything they find on, or even the depths, that is in the sea, as well as the microorganism, that is nothing but the insects. So they do research of various things present on the earth. Okay, and even they read various books. Okay, there are various encyclopedias are present, so they refer to it and they use that knowledge and they acquire their own knowledge, and even they use and find out the different characteristics of that particular thing or of the particular animal or the plant, and they study that thing in detail. Now as we know, scientists do research work and various devices are used. Now in the first picture you can see it is the magnifying glass. Okay, so they use it. Even they need to study the books, many books for conducting various research. Even many scientists work on same topics, so even they refer to other scientists studies, like what they have found, how it is, and so on. So they research, okay, with the help of the various books available, even with the help of the other scientists. Okay, so all this research work are being carried out. So they need to study more about that particular topic in detail. Now this research work, it is continuing, okay, it is continuing for a longer period of time, and then they need to study the place, okay, they need to study that place, okay, that place for a longer period of time. So the biodiversity of that particular place has been studied by the scientist. Okay, how it carries on, how what the seasonal or the climatic condition or changes happening, accordingly they need to study. So this research work, it is carried on continuously, okay, does not stop, it is continuous process. Okay, okay, and they do not sit at home and do, they virtually or they physically, I mean to say, they practically go in that place, they observe that plants or they observe that animals, they study that place in detail, accordingly they do the research. Okay, now what does the environment means? Now dear students, even the subject, okay, your subject is known as EVS 1, that is environmental studies, okay, that is part 1. Okay, now what does that mean? It is nothing but the study of the surrounding. Okay, it is nothing but the study of the surrounding. So see, it is The surroundings and the conditions in those the surroundings and the condition in those surroundings which affect the life of the organisms there are together known as the environment. So what does the environment means? The surroundings and the living organisms present in the surroundings. Okay, and how does it affects? Okay, how does the surrounding affects the living organisms present in the surroundings? Okay, in the environment. That is called as environment. Yes. It means what? The living things present in a surroundings get affected due to non-living things. That is nothing but the abiotic factors like sun, okay, the sunlight, the air, water, soil. Okay, these are the abiotic factors. Okay. Now this, whereas biotic factors are the living things and abiotic factors are the non-living things. But we require abiotic factors in our life because they are interrelated with each other. So in the environment, what is there? The surrounding is there, and the how does the living things are affected because of the surroundings. Okay, because of this abiotic factors, they are called as environment. Now you know that all living things are present on the earth, like human beings are there, animals, birds, okay, insects, and many more living things are present. So non-living things are also present on the surface of the earth, like air, water, sunlight, soil. Okay, so many things are present on the earth. So but we all require the non-living things in our life also. Now dear students, can you imagine the life without water or without air or without sun? No, we can't, because we require water for the purpose of drinking. Okay, now if you're thirsty, what do you require? We require water. Now even water is the non-living thing, but we require water for so we are living things, so water is non-living thing, so we require water for the purpose of drinking. The air we require to breathe, the sun we require sunlight. Okay, even the plants require sunlight. So these non-living things and living things, they are interdependent, they are connected to each other. If one also factor is missing, if one also component is missing, then what will happen? It will affect the living organisms. Okay, it will affect the living organism present on the earth. So with this we come to know that the living things and the non-living things, they are interrelated to each other. Okay. Now living things and non-living things are dependent on each other. As I have told you, both are dependent on each other. There is a lot of give and take or interaction between them. So just as we take an example of the water and water and the human being, we require water, okay, for the purpose of drinking. Okay, the water is non-living, but still we require. So there is an interaction between the water and the human being. So that is interaction between the living things and the non-living things in our lives. Even the sunlight we require for the plants to grow. Now, the environmental science studies this interaction, which means what? Which interactions? The living things and the non-living things. These are the interactions. So they both are dependent on each other. Now we are going to study about the food chain. Okay, the food chain. Now first of all, what do you mean by food? And why it is important? We know that food is required for our survival. Without food we cannot survive. Okay, without food we will not get any energy. Without food we cannot do any particular task or any particular activity. For that reason, for the proper growth and for the proper development, we require nutritious diet. Okay, nutritious food we require, and we all know that we all are dependent on the food. If there is no food, we won't able to survive, we will be die. Okay, so that is the reason we require food for our growth. Now in this picture you can see the sun. Yes, so plants require sunlight for its growth. We all know that plants require sunlight to prepare their food, to prepare for their growth. Okay, now you see the next picture. Worms eat grass. What does the worms eat? They eat grass. Okay, and the grasshopper eats the worm. So the worms are eaten by whom? By the grasshoppers. and the grasshoppers. Okay, then the grasshoppers are eaten by the sparrows. Yes, for their survival, for their food. So in this we can see they cannot live each other, they are dependent on each other. You can see this. If you want to grow a plant, we require the sunlight. Okay, if earthworm, any worm wants to grow, they eat the grass and the leaves, whereas the grasshopper eats the worms and the birds eats the grasshopper. So they all are connected to each other. Yes, they are connected to each other. So in this we can see that they cannot live without each other, they are dependent on each other. If one of the link is break or it is missing, then automatically the number of that particular insect or the particular bird or any animal, it will be less in the number of day by day. Okay, it will reduce, it will extend, means what, it will be reduced day by day. For example, if there is no earthworms, okay, then what will happen, all the balance which is happening, it will be disturbed. Okay, then how that grasshopper will get the food to eat if there is no earthworms? Okay, then they will die. Okay, so same way it is happening in this food change. So in the future we may not be able to see them also, like about the dinosaurs. Are we able to see now? No, we are not able to see. Have you seen dinosaurs? You might have just seen in the pictures or in any discussion, but you are able to see now. Okay, no, we can't, because of this food change, okay, which affects the whole environment. So you see how they are interrelated to each other. Now you can see in this picture of the chain. Now small hooks, okay, they are joined each other to form the chain. So to separate from each other, if you want to separate from, if you want to separate this links, or if you want to separate these hooks from each other, could they be called a chain? You can see in the second picture that one hook or that one link is not there. So can we call that thing as a chain? No, we can't, because it is already broken, it is already loosed. Okay, it is not, that thing is not there, so we cannot call it as a chain. It won't be the proper order, it won't be connected, or it won't be linked. So if any link come loose, or if anything is broken, or if anything is not present, okay, or if anything is missing, so then that change, okay, so that it is not called as chain. Okay, if that link is broken, that thing is not called as a chain. Now in this picture we can see the sun, some plants, okay, that grass, the worm, the grasshopper and the sparrow. So they all are connected. Okay, the arrow shows that they are connected with each other. Now if any one of the thing is missing, then the change will be affect the entire, okay, it will affect the every living things present over there. For example, if there is no earthworm, then there won't be food for the grasshopper. Okay, then what will happen? What will happen? The other living things won't be able to get food, because that the earthworm was the food of the grasshopper. But if the earthworm is really not there, how it will get the food? Yes, so each of the component, it is a food for the next one. So that is why we see that they form the chain. So such chain, it is called as a food chain. Okay, such chain, it is called as a food chain, and each of these components, it is a linked in the food chain. Okay, now look at this picture. This picture shows, okay, the sun, the sunlight, the worm. Something is missing, one thing is missing, and another is the owl. Okay, it is a bird. So what do you think? So what is missing in this picture? Just now we have seen the example in the previous slides. Can you all guess what it is? It is the grasshopper. Okay, it is nothing but the grasshopper. So see, grasshopper. So this chain is without the grasshopper. So where there is a question mark, there should be the grasshopper. So if you see one thing is missing, there won't be food for the other one. Now how will that owl, or what will be that owl will eat if the grasshopper would be missing? So see, this is what happens in the food chain. So many food chains. Okay, now you can see in this picture there are many food chains. You can see if any one of them is missing, it is going to affect the other consumer, that is the other one who is going to consume that thing. Okay, and also it is going to affect the environment. Now this is the food web. Like food chain, it is depend upon only on one living thing. Okay, one living thing, it is dependent on the another living thing, whereas in food web, one living thing is dependent on the many living things. For example, okay, you can see in the second picture there is a grass. Okay, what is it? Is that there is a grass. Now this picture is not clear. You can open your textbook to page 21. or there also a food web is shown. Okay, now for example, the grass is eaten by whom? By the rabbit, and the rabbit is eaten by this bird. Okay, this big bird, this huge bird. Whereas the grass is eaten by the grasshopper, and this grasshopper is eaten by the lizard, and the lizard is also eaten by this big bird. Now this big bird also eats the lizard, it also eats the grasshopper, it can also eat the rabbit and even the snake. So you can see how, now if that bird is big, he or she, okay, I mean to say that bird can consume anything. So you can see now, if one living thing, it is dependent to, like it is a part of many food chain. So that is called as the food web, and this gives rise to the food web in the nature. The food chain, it was dependent only to one living thing, but in food web it is dependent to the many living things. Okay, so here we will stop. I hope you have understood this. I want you all to read the textbook and watch this video again. Thank you, dear students. Have a great day ahead.